Thank you for a wonderful rendition. On behalf of Judy, Nancy, and the rest of our extended family, I would like to offer you our deepest thanks for all the love and support and for being present today as we celebrate the life of a gentleman. My father was known by many names: Bud, Russ, Russell, Mr. Jones, Dad, Daddy, Uncle Russ, and Grandpa and friend. Each one represented a different facet of a full life. He was the second child of Russell W. Jones and Noel Richard, and to his parents, sister, and brother, he was Bud. Growing up in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, his parents and circumstances shaped his core values. His inner strength, decency, reliability, honor, goodness, and character never wavered. My father was an intelligent man, but even so, he worked hard at everything. Extracting a phrase from his Boy Scout award, his personal standards of excellence and professional competency and his disdain for an easy victory made him the man in situations demanding only the best in terms of human effort, industry, and the spirit of can-do. My father believed that there was a solution to every problem. Something worth doing was worth doing it right the first time, and that his girls could be anything they wanted to be. He could be stubborn and determined, but always willing to listen to others' opinions and compromise. While I inherited his need to plan and solve problems, my sister inherited his intelligence, brilliant memory, and gentle nature. The days following my father's death, the family set about notifying his close friends. Josh and I pulled off his phone directory from the computer. This 90-year-old, who was born before IBM was even incorporated, was a very good and computer-savvy individual, using Quicken, researching items online, and he made fabulous slideshows and with coordinated music, and even designed his own cards. His faithfulness to the important people in his life could be seen in the way he steadfastly maintained continuing friendships with individuals from every chapter of his life: Lehighton, Bethlehem, Dundalk, Valparaiso, Sparrows Point, Phoenix, Maryland, church, doctors, dentists, the United Way, Boy Scouts, the Maryland Chamber of Commerce, and the community at large. As difficult as these phone calls were to make, they were very uplifting, each person sharing a wonderful memory. A common theme for me was that they were all given a special gift. We were fortunate and privileged, and each of you who either knew him or are friends of someone close to him were positively affected. Daddy was admired and respected by both men and women alike, and believed in their collective strength, determination, and efforts could lead to any success. He always directed praise and recognition to those around him. He provided you top cover, and when things were difficult, and he was an individual with a glass half full kind of guy, loving the good parts of life and the challenges, believing that through faith, friends, and folly, anyone could withstand any challenge. He was a 3 letterman for Lehighton High School and Lehigh University. He was a proud graduate and active alum. When I called his class of 1941 high school friend Ruthie, to let her know that Bud, Judy says that she had a crush on Dad. But we'll get to all of Dad's self-proclaimed girlfriends in a moment. Ruthie talked about her high school buddies' high IQ, sportsmanship, athletic ability, and they had competed to be each other's competed to be the teacher's pet in chemistry class, and that he every year would call her on her birthday just to talk. Daddy was in the newspaper for most of his life, a captain of his high school and college track and football teams, and a star basketball player. His success in each was well documented in local papers. He hurled a shot put and threw a discus, and I cannot envision him throwing a discus. He excelled at right tackle, and in those days they didn't have a separate punter, so evidently Dad could also kick the ball well enough to be the starting kickoff and field goal kicker. After college, my dad's athletic ability carried over to golf, and he pursued golf with, like everything else, with gusto. Sparrows Point was his home away from home. He loved the game, but more importantly, the guys at the club. When we moved back from Valparaiso, we bought a house right off the 13th fairway at Hillendale Country Club. He would come home after work, and while it was still light, he'd play a few holes. He took every opportunity to play, eat lunch, and have a beer with his friends. Even when his feet failed him, he would still drive to the club for lunch. He could be a bit critical of himself while playing, but yet he was patient and encouraging with others. While he could hit the ball a mile straight down the fairway, I, on the other hand, could hit the ball fairly long, but generally in another fairway. Being an engineer's daughter, I told my dad that it was to experience the complete design of the course. He never criticized or complained, just encouraged me. Not that he couldn't criticize, mind you. My driving lessons exemplified why family members should never teach their children to drive. Fishing and going out on a boat with Steve Tokos are treasured memories, and he and Steve would catch a boatload of rockfish or go crabbing with Daddy, and Daddy loved crabs. Recently, with his salt restriction lifted, he enjoyed some great crabs and with cherished friends. Dad would have this twinkle in his eye, this impish grin, this tilt of his head, and a twist of his wrist to emphasize his pleasure. In fact, the day he passed, he enjoyed some delicious crabs and a couple of beers with some good friends. He was a longtime member of the has-beens, wannabes, never-wases, an informal group of retirees that would get together for lunch. Politics and religion were never discussed. Daddy really enjoyed those monthly luncheons. There, and at Bobby McGee's barbershop in Dundalk, he would share stories of his B-29 Super Fortress and B-17 flying days, as well as his stellar 39 career Bethlehem Steel. My father was a proud but humble man. He acknowledged much, and he accomplished much and impacted a significant portion of Maryland with his contributions. He had a gift for public speaking and rallying people, whether for a game, a project, charity, or speaking before Congress. He had a way of lifting you up and enrolling you in his cause. He was extremely proud of working with the men and women of Bethlehem Steel. And even after retirement, he continued to campaign for them, speaking before Congress on behalf of their retirement benefits. My father met my mother at a wedding where he was an usher and she was a bridesmaid. They dated for only 6 months prior to being married. My sister and I were truly blessed. They say you can't pick your parents, but if we had a choice, it would have been them. They complemented each other and had this wonderful, loving relationship. My father was always there for my mother and saw her through some very difficult and challenging times. He never complained or expressed disappointment about opportunities lost. He expertly managed raising 2 girls, even though I'm sure I was the cause for him to gray early. So what are some things that you might not know about my father? He was a man of tradition and routine. And though he complained, he loved decorating the Christmas tree. When we were growing up, he would wait to string the lights and decorate the tree until Nancy and I went to bed at night, so that we could enjoy the magic of Christmas morning. The last year, we had a real tree we cut and hauled a 14-foot blue spruce out of somebody's yard to give Mom the very best tree possible. That was probably the reason it was the last year. Getting it up the back flight of stairs was a nightmare, and on more than one occasion, this man of faith called out, rather emphatically, "To our Lord for strength." At least that's what I thought he was saying. Every year for 56 years, he read me the night before Christmas. Even when I was away from home. One year, he called me and read me the story. I'd snuggle up next to him, and for that moment, I was 5 again. My dad was a cross-dresser. Well, just for Halloween. In recent years, his favorite was a pirate. But in the early 60s, and on more than one occasion, he'd put on a dress, a wig, makeup, jewelry, and this handsome man turned into the most homely, awful thing you would ever see. Most of you know that he loved the Baltimore Colts and the Orioles. When the Colts left town, he was devastated. He accepted and enjoyed watching the Ravens, but it wasn't the same. What you don't know about Dad is that during his senior year in college, he was contacted and sent acceptance letters to 2 professional football teams. The Los Angeles Rams owner and Hall of Fame winner, Dan Reeves, was very interested in Dad. Also the head coach and Hall of Famer, Ray Flaherty, of the New York Yankees football team. Yes, you heard me correctly. Back in the 1940s, the Yankees had a very successful football team. He told me once that he momentarily thought about taking that job, but thought that steelmaking would make a better career. Here is a man who, quoting Judy, would crawl through broken glass to watch his beloved Orioles. I just can't picture him rooting for the Yankees. Over the last 10 years, Judy has, on more than one occasion, introduced me to one of Dad's girlfriends. In the audience today, I would estimate that we have close to a dozen who profess to be his girlfriend. Some of you even consider yourself his #1 girlfriend. Well, this was all in good humor. My dad really only had one girlfriend. My father loved and adored Judy with his entire being. It was that wonderful, loving partnership where 2 independent and slightly different people could make magic together. My dad loved to plan, and Judy loved to travel without one. Dad was a Republican, and Judy a Democrat. Dad put things away in the same place, and Judy put them, well, somewhere. Judy brought joy, travel, adventure, intimacy, and their love set a wonderful example of a truly loving partnership. My dad got to see things and do things he never would have without her. She encouraged him, and in later days, to stay active even when his body was failing. I believe that added years to my dad's life. His spirit would soar when he was near Judy, and I am so grateful that she entered our lives. My dad had a charismatic smile that would light up the room. He was present, really present in the moment, and made everyone feel special. It was as if the room and the people went away, and you were sitting there with no other distractions, having this intimate conversation with him. My dad gave us all the greatest gift. He believed in all of us, that we could be better than what we thought we were capable of being. He was our rock, our beacon in the dark, to guide us on the right path, and always light our way home. I would like to end this with a poem called The Silent Tear. Just close your eyes and you will see all the memories that you have of me. Just sit and relax and you will find I'm really still there in your mind. Don't cry for me now, for I'm gone, for I am in the land of song. There is no pain, there is no fear, so dry away that silent tear. Don't mind, don't think of me in the dark and cold, for I am here, no longer old. I'm in the place that's filled with love, known to you all as up above. With that, Jack's going to come up and speak.